There we go, boys. Sol Badguy in Wyvern 11 with my 3-man Wyvern 11 team. I just want to compare his damage with Alexa and TG. Let's see how he fares. He's running Daydream Joker plus 30. The one that I usually run on my Alexa, she's running a plus 24. TG is running a plus 21, I believe. So yeah, with his skill 2 passive, which is not gonna trigger unless when the Wyvern does the tail swing, he's not gonna counter, so it's gonna be skill 3 that's gonna deal damage based on target's max health only. And of course Daydream Joker. Now if I can apply defense down, let's see how much damage he can do. But to be honest, he's not really helping in this run because he's off the fire elements. He's not ice, meaning that whenever he goes, he's giving combat readiness to the Wyvern. So I mean it's 10% combat readiness, and it is not helping. It's really speeding up his turn, which is getting my Angelica to be hit way more often. So let's see here. So yeah, you see the 10% combat readiness increase. Also, ice heroes deal 30% more damage, so they have it much easier here. And also, a thing I want to talk about is that if you have 3 debuffs on the Wyvern, you will greatly reduce his damage dealt with this Fireball Barrage. So you could use his enable to be buff debuff in combination with defense down and other types of debuffs. Let's say you bring the burn artifact with him on him, you can land burn and enable to be buff debuff from him. Now you just need one more debuff and you will greatly reduce the damage output of the Wyvern. So that's really good if you are struggling in terms of survival. The issue is that really that 10% combat readiness that you're giving the Wyvern is quite dangerous. Now tail swing, here's the counter attack. No defense down. Now we need TG to land. There we go, defense down. Now Alexa can just go to town. Let's see his damage. Here's S3 right there. That was, oh my god, that was so much damage. That was a lot of damage right there. Keep in mind, this is without the attack buff. Wow. But I think at the end he got lucky there. I mean, he built the fighting spirit to go another turn. So really... Oh, there's one thing. I don't have 100% crit chance on him. So, yeah, if I get unlucky, I could not land a critical hit. This could be an issue. He's running 84% crit chance for now. It's fine for Golem. You're getting 15% crit chance when you're at elemental advantage. Also, when I get him to 6-star and do his 6th awakening, he's gonna get 8% crit chance from the awakening. So there's that, and also I got 2 pieces of gear that I still need to enhance to see what is the 4th substat. Maybe I get some crit chance there. Not too worried about it, anyways. So yeah, just testing, seeing like how much damage you can actually dish out. And Alexa is really a powerhouse in Wyvern 11. You can check out my 3-man video if you're in trouble, like if you're having some issues farming Wyvern. Yeah, I've got a bunch of videos for that. But this 3-man setup is very effective to just get experience to your fathers and make 6 stars much faster. It's much easier and more efficient in terms of resource usage, because you're of course farming Wyvern 11, which is a really good place to farm. You're getting a bunch of gear, stigma, cold of course, and a bunch of other things, on top of getting a bunch of experience on your fathers. No defense down on that. Extra turn. That's unfortunate there was no defense down, because that would have dealt roughly twice the amount of damage it did. Let's see, hopefully my Angelica can sustain here. It's fine, because he's giving more turns to the Wyvern, so yeah. Like the defense down just got cleared again here. It's just bad timing. So it's probably going to be another kill during the barrier phase or shortly afterward. So yeah, always that counter whenever he does the tail swing, tail swipe. No defense down from TG, so it is cutting the damage in half. That's unfortunate. Okay, Alexa's probably gonna be MVP on that one, and yeah, he's giving turns to the oh, here we go. Let's see the damage. Oh, so much damage, and again it happened. He built his fighting spirit, and he was able to go back to back. That was really good damage. And he's fire, like he's competing against ice heroes. Alexa is like top tier here. Wow, that is very close. That is very close. I mean, I'll show my gear, but he is running a stronger Daydream Joker. Now, in terms of crit damage, they are very close to each other, I believe. Let's go check it out. I mean, you could be running the same team that I'm running, and if you're missing damage, you can just use Sol as your fort. Sol is a very good investment from what I'm seeing right now, and his kit, it's really great. It's really great. So skill ups first. Where is, okay, TG and Sol, nothing on Sol. It's gonna be good when he gets that memory imprint. That's gonna be free defense, especially for the front liner. Alexa max S1. It multiplies the damage from Daydream Joker, so that's really good. Now you see her stats. Actually, let me just show Angelica first. That's her skill ups. And now for the stats. Okay, so TG, you want him to be the fastest hero. Now my Sol is actually faster than TG because I mean, he's not part of this group composition usually. But yeah. So TG almost 200% crit damage. He's got Daydream Joker, and you want him to be the fastest so he can actually have a higher uptime on that defense down debuff. You want him to go before your team, so you apply that defense down debuff, and your team just goes crazy on the Wyvern. Now Sol, he's actually running some pretty good stats for like the gear that I had available. Like, I managed to grab so many pieces with good crit damage, and with the crit chance necklace, it was just perfect. So like that's so much crit damage from these pieces. Like most of them don't even have crit chance. This one does, but nope. 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 It's like, it's the necklace plus the awakening stats that is giving him this crit chance. It's really good. Now you see the crit damage of them both is yeah, it's like the same almost. She actually has a bit more, and she has 100% crit chance because she's at elemental advantage, so she's got that 15% crit chance bonus, and he's only at 84. But he's been critting from what I've been seeing. Also, his effectiveness is at you need to have 55% effectiveness when you're fighting targets that have 70% effect resistance. You cannot counter 15% of it. It's just the way it is. So 55 is the sweet spot in PvE. PvP, you can go higher depending on how much effect resistance the whoever you're fighting has. So yeah, that was his gear. Now Alexa, I mean, she has less speed. But we have to remember that her skill 1 attacks twice, and she's got skill enhancement on skill 1. Unfortunately, when she triggers this thing, it's a different skill. The name changes, so the skill enhancement only works for this the first attack, not the second one. That's why you're seeing higher damage from when she attacks with Fell, but not the second attacks that follows, which is actually called called Cold Edge. I don't think that powering this this skill will increase the damage dealt from that second attack after Fell lands as a critical hit. But yeah, Daydream Joker is really the key against Wyvern 11, especially because he's got very, very close to 140,000 health. He's actually at 139,000 something. But yeah, extremely, extremely good. Did I actually show all her gear? My god, I'm just gonna do it again. But Sol can be used extremely well in the Wyvern 10 or before, like any early Wyvern stages beside 11. He will be much more powerful because the Wyvern is not getting that 10% combat readiness every time he's moving, because he's not of the ice element. Not only that, the fact that he can apply Enable to be buff debuff is a huge deal, because that counts as one debuff that he applies to the Wyvern. It won't do anything to the Wyvern's what is it? I mean, the Wyvern doesn't receive any buff, but it accounts for one of the debuff on Wyvern. So when you do Wyvern stage 9 and Wyvern stage 10, you need to have 2 debuffs on the Wyvern, so it only attacks once. And what happens is that if you apply 2 debuffs, it's gonna reduce the damage of the Wyvern by a lot. And before that, from stage 1 to stage 7, you only need 1 debuff. So by himself, he can cover that, which is really great. Now, let me just go back on Sol. And also, you can just go ahead and use Junkyard Dog, because Wyvern has less health in the previous stages. Daydream Joker is not going to be as powerful, but still, it will be powerful. But if you don't have, I don't know, you don't have 2 debuffs most of the time when you're running a Wyvern 9 and 10, you can just have Junkyard Dog as well on him, and it's going to contribute to another debuff that he can apply. Of course, at plus 15, the chance is not that amazing, but it lasts 2 turns. This is pretty big. So yeah, if you are running, let's say, Taranor Guard or someone that applies defense down debuff with Sol, with the Enable to be buff debuff, plus the Junkyard Dog, that's potentially 3 debuffs on the Wyvern, and it's very good. It's gonna reduce his damage, and it's gonna make it so much easier to deal with him, tank his damage and all that. So yeah, just like a really good hero so far. I can say that for Golem, he is definitely top tier material, free for everyone. I know you need to use some energy, but you can just complete the quest and the collaboration side quest to just get the hero Sol Badguy for free, because you will complete all these things anyways by the end of this event. So yeah, I want to test him in raids. I don't know how much morale he's gonna give to the group. I'm hearing that it's bad, but I want to go and test it out. I'm running the exact same team that I run for Wyvern 11 3-man. It's Taranor Guard, Angelica, and Alexa. This is my 3-man core, plus I run Silk as my 4th, and I get 38 morale running that. So I want to test out Taranor Guard, Alexa, Angelica, plus Sol, and see if there's some good synergy there in terms of morale, if they are happy together or whatever. So there's that I want to test, and I mean, it'd be cool to test him out really in there, so I can show you guys that he can be very strong in the raid. But let's see in terms of morale how he is. And of course, you can use him in the Abyss. He's really great in there, of course, because that passive skill 2 and skill 3 deals damage based on the target's max health. So that plus Daydream Joker is gonna deal a ton of damage against those super high health enemies in the Abyss. But yeah, for Wyvern 11, of course, there are better heroes that you can be running. Of course, a full ice team is the way to go. But let's say you use Sol, you heavily invest in him, like he's carrying some of your top gear. He is actually skill enhanced. It's definitely gonna help your team overall if you bring someone that has all these investments into him. So that's 30% damage increase from S1, S2, S3, which is quite good. And that -1 turn cooldown on S3, of course, is going to be very useful. So the way it works is that when he lands critical hits, he's actually getting 20 fighting spirit with skill 1, and skill 3 gives him 60 fighting spirit. So at 100, what happens is that he just gets an extra turn. And it says that right here, it's called Roman Cancel. If fighting spirit is 100 at the end of an ally's turn, the caster consumes all fighting spirit before extending the duration of a buff and being granted an extra turn. So good burst damage that he can dish out when like you can combo S3 and then that thing is gonna proc. So that's 2 attacks like you saw against the Wyvern. It's been happening in both runs, because at that point he reaches 100 fighting spirit, and it's quite a bit of burst damage, and all that actually happens during the barrier phase, which is actually quite a crucial moment during your fight. So what you can do is try to get him as much speed as I have him at, and you'll have him do this combo during barrier phase. Just make sure you can actually land defense down debuff, which is definitely gonna increase his damage output that scales off of the target's max health. And yeah, I mean, just an amazing hero, and you should definitely build him, especially if you're struggling in Golem. Like 100% build him for Golem. If you're still struggling, if you want to farm that place, it will be much easier because he's fire. And I'll do another video, actually. It's gonna be him in there. So Sol, it's gonna be Destina healing with Mascot Hazel instead of Clury. It's gonna be Mascot Hazel with that greater attack buff and unhealable, and also Bellona and Sol. So check that out if you haven't before. And of course the defense down uptime is not going to be as good because I don't have clear anymore, and removing buffs, if he doesn't land that unable to be buff debuff, clearing those buff off of the golem is not going to be as good. But yeah, I want to see his damage against the golem that has defense down, and also with him running greater attack buff. So that's gonna be something to look for. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'm Astranox. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Press the bell icon for like to be notified whenever I release a new video. And check out my other videos. They should be on the screen now. Playlist for Arena, Guild Wars, my guides with tips and how-tos. So check those out. I've got a lot of good information in there if you haven't in the past. And also I've got guides with tips for Abyss Floor 62 plus. If you are struggling in there, check those out. I'm talking about fight mechanics, what kind of team composition you should run, and like what kind of damage you're going to be taking and all that. So I go through all this stuff in those guides, so check those out if you are struggling, guys. And really, thanks again for watching. Peace out for now.